that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the fives, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take 50, 75, 200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Are you worried about your roof? Protect it with a lifetime shingle transferable warranty with Universal Roof and Contract. Save up to $1,250 on your roof replacement, plus flexible financing up to 15 years. This expires August 31st and restrictions apply. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs, but they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jags held their first joint practice yesterday with the Bucs, and head coach Doug Peterson shared how he felt it went with the media this morning.
Yeah, I thought it went well. Good competition out there. It was a lot of plays when you think about it. I think we had 90-plus reps, both sides, so, you're playing maybe a game and a half of practice, but it was good. Again, great competition. It was good to go against another opponent. Todd does a great job of coaching his players, obviously, and it was good.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. Their second joint practice will be today with their second preseason game on Saturday at 7:30. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, we'll cool it down this morning by taking a look at today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. A good practice yesterday by all accounts for Brian Thomas Jr. Tony, another long touchdown today and 7-on-7s delivered by Trevor Lawrence. So Brian Thomas is seemingly just coming on day after day after day. I'm sure, having that catch in the first preseason game, getting him out of the game, having that celebratory moment, that instills some confidence in him. You get that first one out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't know if we'll see any of him this weekend, so we'll see how it all works out. But what did you come up with for your projection for Brian Thomas Jr.? How'd you arrive at it?
It's kind of funny. Like, the hype around him is just getting bigger and bigger every day right now, so I almost feel like I'm lowballing him a little bit with where I wound up with it. But I wound up at 50 for 850 and 5 touchdowns, which would be 17 a catch.
17 a catch,
right?
Wow.
Right. So I see him as a big play guy. I don't know with the other how much we're seeing Gabe Davis factor with some of the stuff they clearly want to do with him in the middle of the field a little bit more. What we already know they could do with Kirk, what they could potentially do setting up Ingram to be a guy who can be a vertical threat a little bit more this year, obviously, than he has been the last couple of years in the offense. But I do think, Brian Thomas Jr. being a guy, given that role, catching 3 to 4 a week feels about right to me, which is where that 50 number would be.
Okay.
Somewhere in that kind of range. So 50 for 850, 5 touchdowns. So 17 a catch there for Brian.
From the desk of Dylan Denmark, what do you got?
I got, I'm going to say around 45 catches. Maybe I'm thinking closer to 50 now. But I think we'll go 750 yards and about 6 touchdowns.
Now, you're thinking closer to 50 now because Tony swayed you or just these recent practices? Or?
Yeah, these practices.
Okay.
But I'm pretty confident 750, 6 touchdowns.
Okay, I went with I feel like I may be lowballing him, and I went higher than you guys did, at least in terms of the receptions. I got him at 60 catches, averaging 15 a catch. That was really what I wanted to fix. That's the number. Like, what's the average per catch, right? To kind of figure out. And yes, you may be right, Tone, because they are going to take some deep shots to him, and they can obviously skew that average. But I got him at 7 touchdowns. And I'm not trying to go crazy here. I do think he'll pop some long ones. Yeah. I don't think that's the only place they're going to utilize him. I mean, he's going to be on the field pretty much throughout. Yeah. So hopefully he'll get some of those red zone opportunities as well. Let's look at some of the projections we got here. O'Greasy goes 80 catches for 1247 and 9.
Ooh, boy.
I mean, look, I'm here for it, but not expecting it, and that's okay. Yeah. 50 for Scott, 600 to 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. See, I think 50. You got to go. The way they're going to use him, I think that yards per catch would be way too low. If you're only talking about like 600 on 50 receptions. Yeah. Just that's in the like 11 something a catch, there, something like that. 80 for 1110 from Extreme Champ. Ooh. Code Blue on Twitter. Ooh. J. Paul, love you, sis, but I hope your math is right. 80 for 1002. I got to do the math. I got to do the division. What is that? Did she do that for a reason? But 1002 and 6. Freddie says this is generous. 30 catches for 350 and 3 touchdowns. His Twitter bio describes him as a sane Jaguars fan. 30 for 350 and 3 touchdowns, and that's generous? I don't see it. I don't see how he is going to be. Now, granted, presuming he stays healthy, and he's a young guy, no reason to think he won't, right? But let's say he plays 15 games.
Yeah.
2 catches a week?
Yeah. I mean, that's banking heavy on the way people felt about rookie receivers 5 years ago.
We went through this last night on SiriusXM on how many
rookie receivers have ended up in the top 12 in terms of fantasy production. Just last year, you saw Puka Nacua was like the 5th best receiver. There have been a bunch of them in the last 15 years that have done it.
And look, we talked about going into the draft process that Brian Thomas Jr. strikes me as the type of receiver that would have been a first-round pick in any year, right? It's not like it's just he's the 4th wide receiver taken this year because the class is crazy at the top of it. But Brian Thomas Jr. would have been a first-round pick in any of these drafts and probably would have gone in around the spot where he went. And this year's draft, probably in the early 20s, is where he was bound to be drafted in the National Football League. And we've seen plenty of players that have been drafted around there that 10 years ago, when they were drafted, it's like, we'll see what happens his rookie year. We're really expecting something big year 2. Like, that was kind of the idea with players that got drafted around there. Not anymore. Not in today's NFL with the way college offenses work, how explosive these guys are when they get in. I do think that's low. I don't think it's crazy if you wanted to make a prediction on today's numbers where you keep it in that 40 to 50 kind of range. I don't think that's nuts, right, for Brian Thomas Jr., depending on how you think they're going to use him. I think 30 is, what is that?
I think it's just basically you almost think he's a borderline bust.
Yeah, that's a remnant of 2015. I just don't expect that that's how little they would be willing to use him.
A couple more, Nathan. Realistically, 65 for 890 and 7. So that's probably about in the 14 yards per catch range. Hoping for 95, 1250, and 12. Hell, if you want to hope, I'm hoping for 110. 1,600, and I'll go with 17 touchdowns to be conservative.
Why not? He had it last year. Let's go.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And he did it in fewer games, Tone, so I'm hoping. A lot of them in that 60 to 70 catch range. A lot of people think he's going to sneak it over 1,000 yards. Here's one from Ed, 70 for 850 and 7. Look, 7 touchdowns. Look, I think there's a chance that he could be more prolific than that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like teams around the league are not going to know what the Jags are going to try to do with him early in the season. So, whether or not they can do it is another question, but they're going to be ready for him to try to test them deep. Bush Drive Ridge, 10 touchdowns and 72 catches for 976 with 15 drops / overthrown balls combined. It probably will have a few drops, right? And Trevor will probably, I don't know if that number is, I don't know if overthrown. There may be a few underthrown balls to him, too. I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
That speed, I like to see Trevor try to overthrow him a couple of times because he has been getting behind the Bucs secondary, as Matt said, after the highlight I just saw from practice. All of them. All the stats. He's going to have all that coming up. All right, so that was fun to look at. And look, we all hope that it's just one of those breakout campaigns. And you wonder, Tone, Jack said he was our target the whole time. But when you trade back, even if you look at the teams and you have them sussed out pretty well, like this team's going to go here, this team's going to go here, they're not going to go wide receiver. All it takes is one team trading ahead of you.
Yeah.
What are the Jags? Maybe they pivot and they go Terry and Arnold, right? At that spot.
Sure.
What do they do at wide receiver, though? Because I don't think they're coming out of this draft without a wide receiver.
No.
And so what do? They go into the second round, and you don't have Mason Smith on this team. Obviously, you probably wouldn't be drafting Jarian Jones had you drafted Terry and Arnold in round 1, and on it goes. And it's an impossible question to know the answer.
No, we don't know what the answer is. It's been fun that here early in the process for Thomas that the dividends are good. Like early on, he's exactly the athlete you thought they were drafting. Like there's been nothing that we've heard or seen from Brian Thomas Jr. to this point in the process that if you were excited about the pick when they made it, you haven't been given a reason not to be excited a couple of weeks before the season starts. He's been good.
All right, let's get to a few thoughts from Josh Hines-Allen because why not? Right, one of the best players, you could argue he's the best player on this football team based on what he's accomplished on the field in a Jaguar uniform. And this is interesting considering one of the tweets we saw earlier was asked about how it is going up against a tackle like Tristan Wirfs in these joint practices with the Bucs.
Shout out to Tristan. He's a heck of a tackle. This is, I've been looking forward to this matchup for a minute now. From dating back to last year when he played us, I think he got the best of me. But it's okay. I still have my rushes in there. But as a totality of the game, I feel like I could have done more. and he did a good job on working his craft. So this time it was just to see how far I came in my preparation and my readiness, sticking to my plan, and also being physical and fast. But also trusting that the DBs are going to do their job in the back end, and the linebackers are communicating with us that we can play fast, get the alignment. But it's not about him. It's about my preparation and my ready up here. And I can't wait to watch this tape and learn and get better. But, it's a great start to something that's going to continue to get better.
I don't know how you quantify this because they're not in pads today, but apparently he threw worse out the club at least once during practice today.
He saw something on the tape that told him, I can get him on this in the run game, potentially, but he certainly did, at least for one of those reps. Josh Hines-Allen also was just asked about what he sees as the keys to an effective pass rush.
It starts in the back end. I love those guys. Those guys are really, they help us out. We need the quarterback to hold the ball, first and foremost. So not a game's not going to work. The coverage isn't doing their job. The rush, we have to get home. So that's how we work hand in hand. I love those guys. I respect those guys. I love the way they work. And, I'm excited. I'm excited for them this year.
All right, there you go. Just a few thoughts from Josh Hines-Allen. You probably heard a bunch yesterday from him as well. Just want to get to a couple of these tweets here. Tony, combo from John Shipley, Demetrius Harvey, guys out there. One from Zach Goodall as well. I'll start with Zach. Tank Bigsby wins on an angle route versus Bucs starting linebacker KJ Britt. So the drumbeat continues for Tank Bigsby. Devin Lloyd tipping a Kyle Trask pass at the line of scrimmage that ends up intercepted by Eric Howlett. That's from Ship, as Demetrius Harvey pointed out. Doug Peterson praised him this morning and also pointed out, hey, it's not all good, right? Trey Palmer with the catch of the day for the Bucs, beat the Jags defense deep. But one more on the positive side to wrap up. This is a retweet from Ship from Pewter Report, a site that covers the Bucs exclusively. Jaguars rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. remains a problem for the Bucs secondary. He is virtually unguardable and just caught a 20-yard out in front of Jamel Dean, who had to play off and respect the speed. He and Trevor Lawrence remain in sync. This is after Trevor had hit him in 7-on-7s for an 80-yard touchdown where it looked like he was 2-3 yards behind the defense as well. So the speed is definitely legit. Let's get a thought on that from the boys of XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
And representing the boys of XL Primetime, Mr. St. Augustine himself, Joe Coward.
What is up?
How are you?
It's
What
good to
do
see
you make of
another
Dylan Denmark never having meatballs with his spaghetti?
Are you serious?
Never ate meat sauce, yes, but no meatballs.
Are you serious?
How do you get to like 2 decades under your belt?
He's only had meatballs in a sandwich.
That's ridiculous.
On a sub.
When my kids come home to see TLD, they ask every single time.
You get any meatballs?
Meatballs. No meats. Like I love meat sauce because she'll work a little sausage in there and whatever. But anyway, meatballs. That's all they want.
Absolutely. I think it's the best way to go. But hey, you do you. So what do you make? A lot of good hype around Brian Thomas Jr. And granted, it's they're not roughing them up out there today, but it's nice to hear some positive returns on the Jags' first-round pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think both passing games actually did okay against each secondary. Now, Eric Howlett towards the end made a couple plays, which was pretty nice. Braswell made a couple plays yesterday. Obviously, that Tyson Campbell, Mike Evans play from yesterday was definitely memorable. But both have had success in the passing game. And I would say Trevor and the Jags had more against the Bucs than the Bucs did against the Jags.
Some people were trying to make it like, hey, that was a flat drop by Mike Evans. That would have been a touchdown had he held on to. How did you see it with the play?
Just so you know how it goes, both of you guys. I just happened to be walking and turned around right in front of it.
Okay.
Because I was trying to see both fields at the same time. So I saw the last 2 seconds of this play, and I feel like Tyson Campbell did what he needed to do to make sure Mike Evans did not catch the football. And then there was a videographer right there that almost got got trucked. And they were just about to move him, and then that play happened, which was classic.
Joe C., always Johnny on the spot. What's coming up on Primetime, Joe?
Well, we'll definitely dig into it. We kind of got like our case review of the roster right now that Leon, Matt, and I will go through, and we'll just kind of hit all the big points, because this was, as Doug just said in that soundbite you guys played earlier, 90 plays yesterday. And that's more than that's a game and a half of work. And so anyway, we're just going to break it all down. It's time to start reducing the roster. So we'll be drilling down on them. And then, of course, a little college football that we'll throw at everybody. We're a little over a week away from week 0. FSU and Georgia Tech. Love it.
I understand you, brother. All right. Have a good show. We'll be listening.
All right, fellas. Thank you.
All right. XL Primetime coming up, because we got our Jaguar programming today with the Doug Peterson Show. Sans Doug Peterson in the preseason, but happy hour as well. So you get the Frangie Show moved up to 2 to 4 today, and Helmets and Heels, the ladies have the day off, returning tomorrow. Tom McManus will be in studio with us tomorrow.
Yeah.
And off we go into the weekend. Glad we could give away another pair of tickets today to the preseason Week 2 encounter between the Jags and the Bucks. And we'll have all the latest coming out of post-practice as the team is off tomorrow and